Hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to come on here and start the book review part of this whole experience. I absolutely adore reading, and I don't have anyone to talk to about it. I can talk to my husband about it, but he's more of a, oh, good, babe, I'm glad you enjoyed it, instead of a, like, tell me more, like, he's just not much of a reader, and that's okay. It's always the reader and the gamer that go well together. And my husband does tend to be a bit of a gamer, not like crazy setup or anything like that, but he does like to play Call of Duty and things of that nature. So he does that. I do my crafty thing where I read. And so all of these books back here and all of these books over here, there's a long shelf over here. And then I actually have an entire corner of my bedroom floor that has books. We live in a very small apartment, so we're trying to make space for my habits, my hobbies. But I can only take up so much space without feeling bad that I've taken up every space. So I would like to. A lot of this and this over here has been purchased a while back, like several years back. To where I was like, oh yes, that book and this book and this book, and I went on discount sites like Thrift Books and Book Outlet, things like that. Like a lot of these are used books. There are some like these ones up here, the Fourth Wing trilogy and all that I did buy new, but it's because I read them before I purchased them. And I wanted a specific version. So that's basically what I'm doing now in my wiser years of book reading, is to read the book first, and then if I do enjoy it, purchase the book in the edition that I would like to have it in. I have a very specific genre that I do like to read, but I am trying to branch out more because there are so many beautiful stories that are written outside of the science fiction fantasy genres. That is my main genre, but I do love graphic novels. I'm branching out to try to read some horror. I'm kind of weird about horror. I don't like body horror, mutilation, anything like that really grosses me out, like makes me physically ill. I can't stand it. But I do like paranormal, and I've tried a couple thrillers that I actually like. It's kind of hard for me to get into them because I can't really get into the human emotional aspect of it, probably because I've been such a sci-fi fantasy reader for so long that I'm just used to it not being real. But I am trying to get into it. But some classics that I would love to read. I've actually recently branched out into the romantasy. For a long time I didn't want to read romance because I was like, ew, gross, gushy, but with the element of horror or romance or fantasy that has been added to it. I say horror romantasy because there are a couple of books that I'm going to show today that are kind of along that genre or in that genre, that I'm going to review today. But basically that's what is going on with me as a reader. I started reading, very, very long time ago, as a little kid, and then as I got older, I was more focused on other things and unfortunately stopped reading for a long time. So I've recently, when I say recently, I mean in the last 10 years, have picked back up and have become really avid about reading. I read physical books, I read ebooks, I've listened to some audiobooks, which have actually been very helpful when reading certain books, because those certain books, I, for whatever reason, just could not get myself into it. And maybe it was because, me as the reader just didn't have the right tone. Maybe I was not reading it in the correct voice, because some books are better read from a male's voice, or heard from a male's voice or heard from a female's voice, because they have a better connection to the character, or they have a better presence in the character. So I absolutely believe that audiobooks are a wonderful way to read books. They help immerse yourself in the story a little bit more, and I really appreciated that from those specific books that I read on or listened to on audio. Um, I absolutely love a physical book. I'm not gonna lie. I love feeling the pages turn. I love the feel of it in my hand. I love the smell of it. I love a physical book, but nothing beats the convenience of having thousands of books at your fingertips on a Kindle or e-reader or whatever it is that you use. Um, so I don't hate on either of them, or all three of them, I should say, because audiobooks. I don't hate on any of them. I think they are all fantastic ways to be able to immerse yourself in a story, and that's essentially what we read for anyway. It doesn't matter if it's fiction, doesn't matter if it's nonfiction. You know, whatever somebody was thinking is now on a piece of paper, and you get to read that thought. And that thought can be anything that engages you. And if that engages you, and if that gives you what you're looking for in that moment, that's perfect. That's exactly what reading is about. So, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy, whatever it is that you read, please feel free to, you know, engage with me on that. I would love to be able to know your thought process on it. I would love to be able to know what you love to read. Tell me what your favorite book is, and maybe it's something that'll go, oh, hey, I'll pick that up and we can discuss it. You know, I try to read as much as I can, but you know, having two boys, I'm constantly running around with them. I'm, you know, yes, I am a stay-at-home mom, but you know, I'm trying this new venture out to where to see, you know, how well this works out, and I'm really hoping that it does. And you know, it's also the daily things that I need to do to take care of my home. You know, laundry doesn't do itself, and if I don't make the dinner, it doesn't get made. So you know, I do my best to try to be as much of a reader as I can be. That's also where a lot of audiobook comes in too. I used to, when I was working, because my husband was a stay-at-home for a long time, when I was working, that's where I did a lot of my audiobook listening, was on my commute to work. I had about an hour commute to work each way. Unfortunately, living where we live, there's not a lot of jobs available that are high-paying jobs, so I had to go outside of my area. But that gave me the opportunity to be able to listen to the audiobooks, and so it was awesome to be able to do that. Now it's hard to do because the majority of the time when I have the availability to listen, my baby's making noise. My toddler, or my kindergartner, who's going to be graduating here on Thursday. Oh my God. But my kindergartner is always asking me questions, doing something loud, so I don't always have the availability to listen to an audiobook. And I'm one of those people that just can't put ear pods in, because I can't listen here and listen here to something else, especially when it comes to my kids. I just can't do it. I'm also not one of those people that can go to the gym and listen to an audiobook, because once I start huffing and puffing, I'm not focused on what I'm listening to. And so that's why music is better for me at the gym. So I can't do an audiobook at the gym. I just can't. But yeah, so, you know, when I get the opportunity to read is generally at night when I go to bed, or once the kids go to bed and everything's quiet. You know, like I said, my husband's a gamer, so he'll sit and he'll game, and then I'll read, or I'll do whatever I do. A lot of times it's like crocheting, which I'll add that to this adventure too. But yeah, so that's me as a reader in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm trying to branch out to different genres, so you know, let me know what your favorite books are, so that maybe we can discuss, maybe I can read and discuss those. You know, just as any reader is, their TBR is, you know, a lifelong list of books that you will more than likely never read all of. And I'm okay with that, because that means that I will always have something to read. There will always be something that's interesting. There will always be something to entertain me. So yeah, I am going to do the review of the books that I was talking about earlier in another video, just so that this one's not ridiculously long. But so this is just basically me as an introduction to being a reader, and I hope that I get to read your comments soon. I absolutely love reading your comments, and I am so thankful for all of you who watch. So I look forward to it. Thanks, guys.